very stay in rainy mood kind of vibes. You see, there's very like beautiful ornate furniture. There's silken coverings for a beautiful looking couch positioned in the middle of the room. And you can see this furniture in a semicircle facing towards another rocking chair. Clearly, like this is looks almost like a mini common area for like a inn or some kind of like big hotel esque uh, lodging. And you see they go over and sit down in the chair, and on the table there is about roughly 10 teacups set out, and there's different pot of tea in front of each one, and various different baked goods ranging from a steaming hot loaf of bread. You can see there is these little croissants off to the side, um, and in the middle you can see there's some sort of a cream puff that looks like is being chilled by a little bit of this little almost like bucket that she has in the center of ice. It's just little cream puffs on top in their little tray. And she pushes it all towards you and offers to sit down. She goes, "Welcome in. My name is Bob." And pulls back the cloak. And you see this just raggedy old looking woman. Just wrinkles galore, hair wild and kind of pulled back, and just bush of white, almost looking like white tendrils more than actual hair. These kind of beady looking yellow eyes just squinting at all of you with a like kind of like very friendly smile, but also like really really wide smile. Very simple robes, has some kind of ornate like kind of dark stone looking jewelry on her, has carvings in them of various different what looks like to be some sort of nature based symbols. um and you can see as you get in, she produces small little dancing lights in the room for you to have a little bit more atmosphere around her. Goes, "Welcome, welcome. As I said before, that is Rob. I am Bob. It is a pleasure to have you. Welcome to our humble home." Bob. "So, I've heard you've gone through some stressful times, so if you don't wish to talk too much, I understand. You can enjoy your beverages, your lovely baked goods,
I don't like her.
and eventually, you can be on your way. But if I may ask, what are your name? To be so brazen to admit that you murdered a bunch of people as you just met someone drifting on a house in the middle of nowhere? You're a very curious bunch."
It's not brazen. We're just.
I would like to perform awakened awareness on her.
Cool. It is, and this is, uh, kind of semi, semi known knowledge. It only works against awakened creatures. So there is a chance it fails. But if you'd like to try, what are you going to attempt? Is Baba Yaga on a cruise? I retired. What would you like to attempt to find out?
I was just rereading the homebrew rules.
I can post it for you again if you like on Roll20.
I'm there. I'm reading it right now. Class.
Class? Okay. Go ahead and make me a intelligence check. Just straight intelligence. 17.
Respectable.
You there is no class associated with this person. Or at least none that you can identify.
Mm-hmm.
And as you kind of begin to try and sense out, you can reach out with your awakened senses towards them. He goes, "Oh, my If you have questions, no need to pry. Just ask. I'm a very open book. And she says that as she closes her book that she was reading and puts it to the side.
Marie squints her eyes a little bit at her, but she doesn't say anything.
I can sense there's some tension in the air. And of course, as weary travelers, you must be uh, open and have your senses about as you're traveling in the midst of a very dangerous ocean. But I must say, I pose no threat to you. I
Maurice,
merely wish to hear some stories and know some information about very interesting people such as yourselves.
Maurice shoulder shoves Rictus.
He
He's the
just
friendly one.
Well, yes, I could tell. Richter Nordstrom the Seventh. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Nordrum.
Nordstrom. Oh, my apologies. I actually know someone named Nordstrom, not Nordrum. My old age, I mixed you up.
I get it a lot.
My apologies. Nordstrom the Seventh. It's a
Yes.
very interesting name. Are you the seventh Nordstrom? Are you the seventh Rictus? Are you the seventh Rictus Nordstrom?
Yes, that one.
Oh, goody! It's very rare to see a name travel through 7 generations. You should feel
Thank you.
very proud in knowing that your bloodline managed the accomplishment.
I appreciate that. I try.
Well, you don't have to try, you just exist. And that in itself is a gift.
So how long have you been out here?
Oh, out on the ocean, we've been drifting now for how many days, Rob? You see the large tree entity finished tying up your ship, walks back inside and looks down at its hands and begins counting on its fingers. And after a good couple minutes of it just putting up a finger, putting up a finger, putting up a finger, putting down a finger, putting down a finger, it just flashes its hands a few times. She goes, "Ooh, 70.
70 years?
Oh, no. Days, my dear.
Oh.
We just come back from an island recently. We had a little bit of a beach trip. But I don't want to be talking about myself so much. Oh, no, please. Tell me about yourselves. So, Rictus Nordrum the Seventh. What is your name, dear? And she points and gestures towards you, Reese.
Risha Amos.
Risha Amos. The pleasure is mine. Gives you a slight bow of the head. And what are you, my dear? I know you're Vidalkin, but you seem to have an interesting presence about you.
You said you know a Nordstrom?
I know I've heard of Nordstroms before. It's a very common name.
Well, which Nordstrom do you know?
I don't know any personally. I've just heard of it. Few who stop by have mentioned Nordstrom, a drum Nord. Just no drums. Various implications of the name. But you seem interesting. Like you have a whole lot going on. Oh, and my apologies. I didn't even offer anything to you, my dear. And she pokes out a very old and weathered finger in the air around you. You didn't tell me you had a little one coming.
She creases her eyebrows a little bit.
She goes and walks behind her chair and pulls out a little glass jar and begins to put what looks like to be some sort of like velvet cloth inside and around the jar. Puts in what looks like to be a little cushion, like a little like almost pillow. Puts it in there and then puts the jar and slides it towards the table towards you. And as the jar slides to the edge of the table, you watch as a little blue light flickers and enters the jar.
Oh,
She goes, "There you go, my dear," and kind of taps the jar a few times.
Reese sort of relaxes a little bit, and her more stern composure softens.
"I must know. I have never seen one of your kind before." And she looks directly towards Mustang. "Ooh, and what are you, you magnificent specimen?"
You see, originally Mustang had like a "oh boy, here we go" look on his face, but then as soon as the flattery starts, he'll be like, "My name's Mustang. Mustang Strong. It's a pleasure to meet you, Bob."
Well. It's a pleasure is all mine. Mustang Strums. Hmm. Do you know, and I say this with all due respect, do you know what you are?
I've got a guess, but I try not to look into it too much. I think maybe it'll hold me back if I put too much energy into that. I am Mustang Strums, and that's all there is to it.
You are a very astute individual to realize the past is the past, and moving forward for your present self is a very self-sustainable way to keep your wits about you. I like it. Pleasure to
Glad we're
meet
on the
you,
same wavelength.
Mustang Strums.
The pleasure
And
is
you-
mine.
She looks towards Mammoth. And you are, my dear?
My name is Mammoth.
Mammoth. That is an exotic name. Do you know there were once creatures that walked certain parts of this world that were called mammoths?
That's why I'm named the way that I am.
Wow, that is adorable. Oh my goodness. Oh, and you're wearing a fluffy coat just like a mammoth.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mean to patronize you. I just like when things go together. Pleasure to meet you, Mammoth. And last but not least, looks towards Kipling.
Hello.
Hello. And who might you be, my dear?
Fiona.
Fiona. Very, very interesting. I once knew a Fiona, you know. Many, many years ago. She had red hair, though.
Kipley.
Must be a different Fiona.
Kipley slowly brings up her lens, looking through it.
Without saying anything, just weep, weep, weep. You look for it. What are you trying to use the lens for?
I guess she's trying to see if she's seeing anything weird, like any kind of like specific animus going through this individual.
As you kind of slowly pull it up, kind of like Homer going for the bushes.
Yes,
You
yes.
just reach into your reach into your
Exactly.
cloak without saying anything. Very slowly move it up to your right eye, and she kind of like not creases her elbow or her eyebrows, excuse me, but just one eyebrow. Like as your hand raises, one of her eyebrows raises, and as you look through, go ahead and just make me a perception check.
Well, eh.
Sorry.
And
Sorry.
bless
Bless
you.
you.
Sorry.
Bless you. Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
I like how it's very panicked.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Are you good?
Yeah, it came on real fast.
Okay. All right. As long as you're good.
And onslaught.
You with a 10, you don't see anything concerning. Or at least anything out of the gate that's like, ooh. You saw her cast a spell Dancing Lights, so there's some source of match to
Mhm,
her that you can see. You see little strands of animus connecting each dancing light to her. You can see there's like a general like magic aura around her, in the same way that there's a magic aura around every spellcaster that you've looked at so far. But nothing like concerning or overwhelming jumps out at you as you look at her through the glass. And after a moment, you watch as she takes out a mason jar and slowly raises it to her left eye and looks at you and doesn't say anything.
We're not here to make any deals.
And you see a smile, like almost a smile that threatens to like break the edges of her face, kind of washes over her. She goes, "Oh, my dear," puts down the mason jar. "I haven't made a deal in I can't even tell you how long. But if you're wondering, yes, I was once a hag. I know, stipulations, stories, all these sorts of stereotypes, but keyword was a hag. The voice sets, I mean, they were just the vocal cords over, I don't even know how many years, but if that's why you're being so untrusting, Fiona." And she gives you a look of like, "And you have nothing to be worried about. I am incapable of making Fey pacts anymore. Instead, I just spend the rest of my Fey days drifting away, talking to people. And with my, of course, trusted companion Rob keeping me company in the meantime. But I know everyone has their stories about witches and baked goods, inviting people in and feasting upon them while they're sleeping, but I trust you. I never let anyone sleep here. For that very reason, just so everyone feels comfortable, unless they like really need to. But I haven't made any bad deals. No foul or life-twisting reputation. Just Bob."
Have you ever brought anyone back to life?
Oh, my dear. That is a little out of my current range, but I could have years ago. Have I? No. Most people know that when you ask a hag for something, you don't normally ask something like that unless you're willing to make a very one-sided deal.
Right.
But personally, I've never been a fan of the whole deals on others' behalf. I have granted powers, though, before. Things like that nature.
Like awakening powers.
Oh, yes. Many individuals who seek the awakened state, but themselves have been bound in an unawakened body.
How do you do that?
How do I do anything? Fey magic. Pacts. Things of that nature.
And what do you ask for in return?
It depends on the person, really. I like to make sure each pact is fitting. No one's trying to have the whole I came in for one thing, left with another. I take what is necessary. As you see, I was helped by an adventurer long ago. A wonderful hexblood. Truly one who cared about others. And he removed the curse that bound me to my once previous evil form. I don't remember what I did in that life. But ever since the mist has cleared, you could say, I've been trying to make fair arrangements for those who stop by my door. If they're asking for help, that is. But if they just stop by, instead I have conversation, learn about a little bit of them, and offer anything that they might ask of me, of course.
How long ago was this?
Oh, my dear, hundreds of years.
Uh-huh.
It was pre-arcane detonation.
You've,
Back when this all was a wonderful land.
you've been around since before the destruction started.
Of course! It's only 1,000 years. More like 800 and something, but I lost track. But those memories are hazy. I can't really remember most, but I have some dreams of before the whole calamity went through and, the big boom. That's why you can never trust a wizard. Or, well, I guess you can trust some artificers, but anyone who dabbles in the sciences are dangerous. Magic. Magic always has known rules. Science. They're learning new rules every day.
What? So you're saying you know how it all started?
Well, I've heard rumors, stories. I wasn't there in person, but I know a thing or two.
She kind of looks back at Rictus and then at Reese.
Would you like to know?
Yeah.
She looks at everyone else. Would you like to hear the story? At least how I heard it. Cannot say that it is 100% true in all its details, but I know it as true as I can. As I said, my past memories are a little iffy.
Rictus
Uh,
nods and kind of perks up.
Mustang, he's sitting down, he's locked in, he's ready to hear, he's been dying to hear.
I'm in comfy mode. Tell me things. Wonderful. Well, the story goes roughly around 900 years ago, back before even the elven grandparents or parents of your now generation were even alive. There was a conflict. A land separated into two forces. The humanoids and the monsters. Monsters, such as myself, were brimming over the continent. Destroying, pillaging, consuming, ravaging most of the humans' lands. There was one who stood above all of them. One who was giving birth to these monsters. A wicked thing, vile in nature. Both the giver of life and taker of lives. She reigned over a large portion of what you now know as the Shrouded Isles for, well, even before I was born. But one day, a group of cultists who were worshipping her had an idea. The humanoids were going to slay her one way or another, and they were gathering their forces, going to kill the beast. But they couldn't have the precious goddess, their living incarnation of power, be threatened. So they devised a plan. They gave the idea of a weapon so powerful that it could kill a monarch. And they disguised themselves as those who could help people build such a weapon. And they did. Years invested. All of this to make what you know as the arcane detonator. A powerful and very, very new technology. No one had tested it. no one knows it did. And the story goes, they dropped it upon her lair, and a blinding detonation hit the earth beneath it, shattering the plates below, tearing the land from itself into small pieces, creating islands out of nothing. The water beginning to surge over the land, flooding and killing the humanoids. Entire races going extinct. Those who were on higher ground had a chance of survival, and those who were already on islands put up defenses, isolating themselves from the world around them to try and survive the onslaught. And ever since, the world has never been the same. Constant shifting, strange weather patterns, mutating creatures, unpredictable storms. Gestures outside the window. All of these things and more fell into place. All because of one greedy individual who sought to keep their mistress alive through any means possible. Now, rumor states, the monarch of monsters has a ever-changing lair. One that only her followers will be able to navigate through, to reach the mother of all madness. She kind of leans back in the rocking chair in a more relaxed position. But you realize, as she was telling the story, the room kind of grew darker. You saw her form as she leaned forward kind of grew a bit larger, and the kind of atmosphere changed. But as she leans back and the story ends, everything goes back to as it was when you first arrived. Details are missing, and execs are not exactly soundproof evidence, but that's what I was told.
And who told you this?
Who the heck's blood that freed me?
Oh, well, who was that?
She kind of gazes outside, like, past your vision, out the front door with like this look of nostalgia. He was a wonderful person. Witchkin was his name. He never told me his first name. Just Witchkin.
That's a cool name.
Being a hexblood, a little redundant, don't you think? Gives like a cheeky smile.
I wouldn't know.
But it was, I don't even know if it was first-hand or second-hand knowledge from him, so all I can chalk it up to nowadays is a story to tell strangers to scare them in their sleep of the monarch of monsters and her followers that destroyed the world for her.
The followers that followed her, I guess, and still are.
Yes.
Are they like an organized group?
Organized enough to trick all of humanity?
Do they carry a name?
None that I would know of. But I do know, if you're looking to find any of them, rumors from those who stopped by a few hundred years ago that there are still some lurking on the king's triumph. Zealots from a relic of an age. still waiting to carry out duties from their twisted mistress.
Is that like a ship or an island or like a dweller?
Oh, the King's Triumph is what is the word? What is the word? I see she's searching for something. Oh, one of your brotherhoods, yes. It is a dweller.
Have you
I've heard it's one of the few that keeps religion within its practices.
ever heard of the island of Ravinica?
Oh, yes. I've heard the stories, rumors. Kind of traces their fingers, kind of intertwining them upon each other.
What kind of stories or rumors?
Terrible place, really.
No.
There was a time where it was a blessing. A booned land from a lost god. One who cherished her people. But a new resident moved in, and ever since, it's never been the same. I've heard dark skies always, despite the chaotic weather, manage to cloud Ravinica's area. Most things that travel in don't come out, and most travelers that dare to come bear terrifying stories. Some say the island is completely ruined with a sick illness that infects the trees, the grass, those who live on it. And anyone that would threaten to try and purge it from its roots. I've never been. Not my top vacation destination. But you seem interested in it. Why?
She gives a little shrug. I heard about it in a poem. Just curious.
My dear, even though I'm not what I once was, I still have very acute senses. You're going to have to do better than that. If you would like to not tell me, just say it. But lying to a hag? Come on now.
I was told to find it.
Hmm? And why would you want to do that?
I don't know.
She stops and looks at you for a moment and stares really hard before going, oh. Oh my. Looks towards the others, looks towards you. Right. Right. So Risha turns towards you, Reese. Would you like to tell me how you came across the little one? Go ahead and make me an insight check, Ghibli.
How?
And anyone else who would like to look into that.
Oh.
Shit. 12. No. 16? Okay. Would you like your whispers here or would you like it private? I'll give you the option.
Either one, it doesn't matter. I don't mind to hear.
Okay. You sense she is genuinely perturbed by that statement. And when she looked at you, She looked at you in a very similar way to how you look at people through the lens and find out something very disturbing. She definitely saw some sort of connection and is no longer. It looks like she doesn't want to continue that conversation in any way, shape, or form to avoid any risk connected with whatever that might entail.
Yeah, Kippley just kind of gives a little bit of a nod, like not a short, just kind of like understanding, and just kind of looks over at first Rictus and then over at Mammoth, and she just kind of walks over to him. Hey, can I borrow your rock?
The same one as before.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you want to just hold on to it?
No.
Oh.
Fuck nah.
No, I promise I'll give it back.
All right. Y'all hand it over.
Alright. She'll like take it and just kind of lean forward and give you a little kiss on the forehead and just
Oh.
Mammoth is blushing.
Instant red.
she's just like, you're perfect. And she just
Thank you.
walks off. Alright, I'll be back on the ship.
Okay.
As you head out, you can see Rob, the tree entity. I need to call it. He's a tree sentinel. Rob, the tree sentinel, gives you a nod and kind of offers his arm up to help get onto the ship. Because there is like a rope ladder on the side that you can climb up, but it's still, extraneous activity to do so.
Yeah, she'll take it, and she won't say anything. She'll just kind of go along with it and then give a small nod of thanks.
He just waves. Yeah, you head up onto the ship.
Okay.
Reese, do you respond to her question?
Sorry, things got separated there.
No worries. She asked how you found the little one, and she pointed to the jar.
He was one of many souls that I had I wouldn't know if harvested would be the right word. I attained them, I suppose. But I let
souls.
and I let the rest go. It was a moral decision, but this one here, she taps on the glass. He wanted to stay with me.
Wonderful.
I'm just working on a new body for him. I just haven't gotten everything that I need for it yet.
Do you know? That is adorable. Similar story to Rob. He was once a proud and tall, much taller tree sentinel, a guardian of where I used to live. And he passed away when, before I regained my consciousness, I guess you could say, my morality, all of that. But his spirit followed me, and I eventually guided it to a sapling, left without thinking another thought about it. And one day, I found him following me, without a word. I sensed something similar to yours. Not directly attached, but a soul that is bound nonetheless. I wish I could offer a sapling, but I don't think it's the same deal with yours. I
It's not
sense
what I'm-
there's other properties.
Yeah.
But still, adorable. There's a reason why I have that jar. It's why I originally kept him. Rob stayed in there for nights. Well, I guess, days without me knowing. Turns and looks towards Rictus. Now, Rictus Nordrum the Seventh. Something tells me, my natural instincts, if you will, that you're on a mission right now. You have an objective, something that you seek. Do you mind telling me what it is?
I mean, I guess it's okay. We were just headed to a place where I'm from called Mistrin.
Mistrin? Never been, but I've heard of it.
What have you heard?
Mining town. Strong, family-run village, more like it. Not really a town. That's collapsed a number of years ago. Entire island is basically a giant crater. Imploded. Most of the city streets are nothing but rubble. And, well, you can basically see the mines from the time that you step on the island. At least that's what I heard.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I was there when it collapsed.
You were? Is that where... And she taps her right hand.
No, that was from something else.
Huh?
But it happened about. I mean, it happened at the same time.
I'm glad to see that you found your own way of healing. As many would have offered to, well, fix it for other means. Do you miss having a flesh hand?
I mean, I guess I haven't thought much about it since I made this. I mean, it's been fully functional.
But you don't feel anything from it.
No.
Also, do you have Rupert with you?
He is still in the token. He hasn't.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah.
Good luck with your family mission. If you find anything interesting, please stop by afterwards. I'd love to hear more about the place. The only rumor I've heard about Mistrin is the gem trade. Magical cores and all that.
Yeah, I actually have one.
You do?
Yeah, it kind of powers a little steel companion that I have.
It powers a steel companion.
And he'll reach into his token and pull out Rupert.
It's more like it is a Pokeball when you pull out because you
Oh,
can't
okay.
physically lift him anymore because of how
Gotcha.
heavy he is. You
Yeah.
can. He's like, it's not like he's 100+ pounds, but it's like trying to lift him out with one hand is like trying to lift out about 90 pounds of metal. So you just kind of like aim the token at the floor and just Pokeballs him out, and he just lands on the wood and just looks around confused as hell, and she goes, "A monkey. Fascinating." And she reaches out to touch him, and his eyes just lock on her, and you can see this like gloss over of the purple as he stares, and just slowly backs his head away. And she goes, well, okay, well, that's interesting. Most animals don't like me, but I didn't think a steel defender wouldn't. Fascinating. Does it have intelligence, or does it just is it just a puppet?
No, he has some intelligence. I think the gem is what is really driving him.
Fascinating. So a gem brought a monkey to life. That's a first.
wasn't really planned. I just kind of put it in him for safekeeping, and
A safekeeper. You put a gem inside a monkey for safekeeping.
yeah, well, he's my defender. He's there to protect me, and I figured if anything, it'd be safer with him than it would be in my pocket.
But like before you put the gem in, was he functionable?
Kind of, not not to this extent. Um, Before it was more direct commands from myself,
So
and
your
now
smile just grows.
and now there's times that he, I guess, because the time we've spent together, he just kind of reacts on his own.
Fascinating. So you really just went out on a limb and stuck a gem in a monkey, and you got a wonderful supplies. That's
Yeah,
fascinating. I've never heard of anyone doing that. See, this is why I like to meet people. Interesting. What's your deal? Looks towards Mammoth. You just seem very quiet and very okay with everything.
I like to listen.
Listening's a good skill.
Dwarf?
Are you not scared of hags? Stories of them eating children, I heard, circulates the seas despite the lack of communication still.
I don't really even know what that is.
Oh. Oh, you dead? Well, that's interesting. Where are you from, my boy?
Some island. I don't know what it's called. I don't think it has a name.
Some island.
Sank.
It sank.
Yeah,
It's just gone.
I
Well,
believe.
my condolences. That is the nature of this world. Unpredictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think I could have one of those trees?
Trees?
Yeah, I
Oh,
heard
do you mean Rob?
Well, I assume that he's not for sale, but
Oh,
one
no,
of
he is
one of
not.
those branches, so that I can grow one.
Oh, you cannot grow Rob. But if you'd like a sapling, I might have a spare pot around here.
If you
It
wouldn't
is
mind.
just an ordinary sapling, though.
Oh.
Rob,
Yeah, I'll take it.
Rob's kind are mostly extinct. To find a tree sentinel seed would be extraordinary luck.
Hmm.
Especially since most tree sentinels are tree sentinels now, who have them go through the reproductive cycle is, well, they would need Druid's Grove to thrive. Not many of those are around anymore.
Well, I'm pretty cool with plants.
Are you now?
Yeah, I can
She kind
kind
of
of
stares at you
do
for a
things
little
with
bit.
them.
She goes, holy shit. You're a druid, aren't you?
I guess. I don't know.
I can see it. Nature flows through you. Fascinating that you're such a powerful one for being so young.
I don't know. I've never met anybody else like me.
Well, that's for a good reason, my dear. There's not many left. Probably enough to count on your fingers.
10.
Well, yeah, you could count. I guess that's fair, yeah. No. A little bit more, maybe, but I'm not sure. There
Where'd
hasn't
they
been a
go?
druid grove sighted in years. Well, most groves were destroyed in the arcane detonation, at least the story goes. And, all druids were isolated from society, so they had no warning of what was to come. It just destroyed their entire civilizations. Nature changed in its very roots, my dear. It used to have a balance. Weather would be controlled by the very land that was beneath it, but now it's just at the wind and command of the animus in the air, the sea, everywhere.
Do you think you could help me find a grove?
If you find one, let me know. But, I haven't heard of a grove. I can't. I don't even know in how many years.
Huh.
But if you were to find any, I suppose the best place to look would be isolated islands. Really anywhere that doesn't have large locales of people.
That makes sense.
Groves tend to have their own independence. At least they did. So if there were any left alive, well, they'd be far away from the outside world. Turns back towards Mustang. I do want to circle back to you, though, because you seem like you have a whole lot more going on, but you're just very chill with what's ever happening with you.
Well, I figure if I worry about the things I can't control, I'll go crazy. So I
It's
just
not a matter of, like, what is controlling you. It's a matter of what you are. Because you're not undead, but you're dead. And you're not here right now, but you are.
see, you're saying all these things and you're stumping yourself. And imagine if I was thinking about these things all the time. I'd get nothing done. I think what matters is that I do right by those around me, and that's a done deal.
Correct, but I can sense there is more in you. I just don't know what. Like, there is literally more than just one person in you.
Oh, brother. I'm getting real sick of people sensing me.
I apologize if this is not what you want to hear, but it's just you're just a spectacle, like a true
Well, on that we do not disagree.
once in a lifetime opportunity. And I've seen devils, archfey. I even once met a giant, but I've never met one of you. I'd love to try and classify what you are, but I have a feeling that you would like me to drop this.
Well, as long as you're not sticking anything where it doesn't belong, I mean, be my guest, but I don't think you're going to find anything that I haven't already tried.
As I said, hags do have a way of obtaining things. Knowledge is hag's second nature. You have to know the world around you to order to make deals with people. So I naturally have a curiosity towards things. And I feel like I've sensed something similar to you before. I just can't remember where. Would you mind
Well,
if I poked around in your thoughts for a little bit?
oh, brother. He's going to kind of glance around. I mean, sure, I don't think there's anything in there that can get me in trouble. Well, that's a lie, but
We all have our hidden secrets. I'm not looking for those. I just want to see what the first thing you remember is.
I mean, couldn't I just tell you?
I doubt that is actually what you would remember. In the same way that an infant cannot remember what it's like coming out of a womb. I have a feeling that you have something inside of you that could potentially be unlocked. Something your body experienced that your mind could not fully remember. I could be wrong though.
Mustang kind of has like a what the hell look on his face. You know, I'll just be straightforward and say I kind of think you're talking crazy, but I'm at least half crazy to get this far, so I'm at least half interested.
Right. Well, to make it a simplified version, when a person dies, there's two halves to them. The body, the soul. Your body only remember what the body remembers. The soul only remembers what the soul remembers. I want to see what the first memory shared between the two is. It might not be the same for the body, it might not be the same for the soul, but I want to find the first one for each and see if they line up.
I mean,
Does that make
we
sense?
love science here, right, guys? And he's gonna look back at the two artificers.
Oh, I trust you. It is not science, it is fey magic. Magic in general, but hags and souls, well, same way that certain beings like to make deals with souls. Well, that's not even second nature. That's just our deal.
Well, I was just gonna say we're gonna do a little experiment, but I get it. You're not a fan of science after what happened. I don't blame you.
No, I'm not. Very well. Just relax. And if you don't want me to see anything, just try and move past it. And you see she takes her hands and begins to wrap them around your head. And she doesn't have to stand very close to you to do so. As you watch her fingers begin to extend to a abnormally
God.
long length, kind of just beginning to touch your temples. And you can feel this this like innate sense that as she begins to cast the spell to enter your mind of detect thoughts and trying to pry deeply within you, that there is a little bit of restraint. Because she could just force her way through, but she waits for permission to go through first. And you can tell that there's just a little bit of her that just wants to go through anyway. Her curiosity is very much stemmed by whatever you are.
As the fingers extend towards him, he's gonna be like, "Oh God, if I had skin, I'm sure it would be crawling." And then he will let her.
If I had skin, I'm sure it would be crawling is so good.
He'll let her go deeper.
Okay. I need you to go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw despite that.
Okay. Damn, I'm about to take some psychic damage. Shit. 6.
6? Cool. Can you make me a con save?
Oh God. A natural 20.
Oh,
Natural 20. Okay. Cool. So get 1/2. Perfect. So essentially what happens is you get a slight slideshow of your life that you've already seen. You know it. It kind of gives you some reminders of some fun hijinks that you've gone into in some not so recent history. It also hurts a little bit to see some people that you hadn't thought about in a while, some that you thought about very recently and haven't seen in a while. But she delves past that after very briefly skimming through. And it does feel like someone is skimming through kind of like files in a folder, just trying to find exactly the thing they're looking for. And you feel a pluck that is painful. Your mind reels, and you find yourself grabbing her hands with your own over top of them as a natural instinct without even thinking about it. And you are not lightly grasping. You are full force bunkering down your hands into hers to the point where you can feel, you don't have muscles, but you can feel the essence of your being, like the solidified kind of like coal like um substance that your body is made out of begin to condense and build up pressure as you kind of flex what power you have and what control you have over your body. You don't take damage, but you have this moment where you lose your eyesight. You lose your senses, all five immediately gone, and you are just in a void. And you can feel yourself being pulled. The body is trying to resist as the mind is trying to open up. And it is violently fighting, not allowing the mind to try and reach out, as you just feel something inside of you, something, either your like second nature, whatever it might be, does not want this to happen for whatever reason. In the same way that uh when you are around uh like a food that you've never tried, something snapped something just snapped inside of me. When you're around a food that you've never tried, or when you're about to do an activity that you've never seen before, and you have an innately bad instinct about it, and you know you're correct, and you don't know why you're correct, but you know if you do it, eat it, whatever it might be, there will be consequences. You get that same sense with that natural 20. And you also know that if you fail, she will get the answers that she's looking for. But you also get the sense that if you fail, something will change. Something you currently do not know will become a truth inside of you. You will be unable to forget or ignore it. It's your choice. You can try and resist it, and you can try and break off contact, or you can attempt to let her access what she's trying to access.
Okay. So this is going to decide what he does.
Oh.
Can he see anything at all? Or is it just
You-
black?
It is complete pitch black. Your senses are gone. You cannot hear, you cannot see, you cannot sense anything. You are basically in a void, and the only way that you know that you are still alive is the fact that you can feel just pain. You can feel some semblance of other, like, outwardly body pain. And that is in the mind as it is reeling from your body shutting down and not allowing you to feel this.
I feel this. Okay.
I sense a disturbance in the force.
That was
And let me know if you need clarification, because that was a lot.
no. I'm thinking about what Mustang would do, because if he can't see anything,
I assume you want to try to flip a coin or something.
yeah. Let me grab a coin here.
I mean, if a natural 20, I would allow that he just flips a coin without being able to see the result, and you can know out of character.
Yeah. Let's flip the coin. I'm thinking back to that Monarch of Mischief.
Cool. Go for it. Would you like to do a D4 and a 1 or 2 its heads, 3 or 4 its tails, or are you actually flipping a coin IRL?
No, I have a coin here.
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
Before you do it,
No. Heads we do it, tails we don't.
Okay, I need to know. Anticipation build.
Holy shit! We're doing it!
Heads?
Yeah!
Okay.
Let me take a
Take a picture of that. Gotta pull a Mercer.
picture. Get a picture. Get a picture. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter if I take a picture. That's not like a
Yeah.
funny thing. I'm just freaking out.
It's a semi big decision. Cool. So in the moment, in your little mind space, kind of ping, flip an invisible coin that you can't even see, and you land on decision. And in the back of your mind, while all of this strenuous activity is going on, you can feel the pressure of the hag. You can feel your body fighting back. You just hear. Good, good. Let there be mayhem. And you just sense some sort of approval of and a being you haven't actually talked to. Immediately, you all watch as Mustang falls to the ground, completely collapsing on his face. Mustang, you open your eyes and you are not in the house anymore. You're not on the boat. You are not anywhere that you recognize. There is a chill in the air. The air is heavy itself. And all you can see is a rough outline of darkness. You can see there's some sort of structure ahead. Looks like to be some sort of either wooden support, like gates, something, some sort of beam. And you're stuck in this kind of standstill image, just kind of viewing it. Almost like you've just placed yourself in Google Maps and you're now observing the nearby area. You are stuck in this memory, this 1 second of time. But what normal dark vision that you hold is not there. You are completely at the mercy of whatever little light is in this scenario. And there is not a lot of it. You can see there is a torch roughly a couple 100 feet away that is moving away from you. Outlines of figures holding that torch, running away from you. And you can see the details around you are getting harder to actually make out. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay, let's see. A 10.
10?
10.
Oh, buddies. Because of how dazed you are, because of the entire experience of this, no humanoid has this experience without going through a time stop, a 9th level spell. So this is jarring. To see the world frozen around you is unreal. And you are more caught up in that feeling than the actual environment. So you can't exactly make out fully where you are, but you know you are underground in some aspect. And you try and look at yourself, but the details aren't quite there. You can make out a hand, but it's too dark to make out any actual features of it. You still feel tall from the way that you're looking at the floor and the walls around you. You can't really gauge anything else. Try and look down at your clothes, but again, you can only make out vague details of some sort of overalls, some sort of like protective covering. And you look back up at the beam instinctually. And you watch in a freeze frame. It's no longer held. It's falling. And very much like when you take uh, multiple pictures in a row. You can see it freeze frame moving slowly down in increments, not consistently just in place, stuck in the air, but a few feet above you, it's just hovering, but you can sense it's falling. And there is an instinct, something inside of you that you feel like you want to move. You have the natural instinct to live, to run, to be anywhere but here, but you don't. Freeze frame ends. Next freeze frame, it's on your back. Sense returns, pain enters your body. You watch everyone else back in the house as Mustang begins to convulse. You watch as smoke begins to rapidly leave and exit the back right and left shoulders of his body. It begins to spasm violently. Mustang, you hold on to the beam for dear life. The reason behind it unknown. Next frame. You close your eyes. Complete darkness, but you hear something. Footsteps. Murmurs. Screams. But amongst it, tears. Crying. Not your own. But you feel it for you. The rest of you, back in the house, watch as a molten bit of what looks like to be this almost black tar begins to pour out of Mustang's eyes onto the floor, with a sizzling popping out of it. You feel compassion. Something, someone reaching out to you, calling your name. But you can't make out the words, you just hear a call. You open your eyes. In front of you, the tunnel is vacant. Sense of relief washes over you. You're no longer standing. You're on your knees. The weight is unbearable. You can hear what sounds like destruction behind you. Feel a tear fall down your face. And your body begins to give. The next frame, you're lying completely flat on the floor, beam pressed against you, pressure beginning to build to almost an unbearable point of pain, suffering. You can feel your spine threatening to snap with every second that goes by. Take one last glimpse looking up. And you see eyes staring back at you. Smoke. But with the same burning eyes that you now see as your own. Reaching out a hand. As you reach your own out towards it. Where light fades, you snap back on the floor of the house. And You look around you as Bob is now sitting back down in her chair, looking at you very concerned. Your companions are gathered around you with all concerning faces as well. And you have the memories of what you just saw, the images of what you just saw, burned into your brain, into your mind. You can see them. Can't explain them. But you know you're not you right now.
Oh.
As you have the distinct feeling of almost an imposter syndrome taking over. The body that you saw, as one last image creeps through as you blink. As you are now from the perspective of the eyes, staring back at a weeping humanoid figure, trapped in rubble, breathing its last breaths. And then you feel the connection break. Spasms stop, and you lie kind of starfished on the ground, feeling exhausted, physically and mentally drained.
Oh boy. Mustang is going to scramble to his feet and haphazardly kind of stumble away from Bob and weakly draw his gun and point it at her and say, "What the hell did you just do to me?"
As you draw the gun, you can feel thuds in the ground. See the rest of you see Rob rapidly approach from kind of lowering his head for the doors and points his palm at you, kind of like a halt motion. And Bob kind of puts her hands up, puts in like a dismissing gesture towards him. I showed you what you are. I apologize if it's not what you expected.
That wasn't me. You put something else in my head. What did you put in there?
I only showed you what you last remembered. What you saw was what you experienced. Nothing was tampered with. You see, she leans back in the chair.
All right. You're. He's looking for words as he looks to the group and then to the gun that he is pointing at her, and he holsters it and he just shakes up. He shakes his head and he'll pick his hat up off the ground and put it back on his head. You woke up the wrong passenger, and he's gonna walk out and try and go back on their boat.
Rob, who is blocking the doorway, now seeing that you put the gun down, steps aside. Doesn't offer you to help get on the boat, but you can just walk through the wall. As you kind of storm off, you see Bob looks at the rest of you. I apologize. My curiosity got the best of me. I don't think he was ready to see that, nor to understand what it means. But he will in time. Please, before you leave, take some food for the road. And please do be safe in your journeys. My condolences for your situation. I would offer to align my services with you under better conditions, but I have a feeling that is not what you desire. Nor, since I don't know the individual, it's not under what they would desire, unless confirmed by them that they would want to be brought back by someone like me. So I wish you luck in your journey. And I hope that none of you meet the same fate. It was a pleasure. I do enjoy company, even if it gets a little tense towards the end. It was still enjoyable. The storm should clear up soon. I suggest you continue in a straight path. Do not veer off course for any reason, and you should be fine. Gives you
Safe
all a wry
travels to you
smile.
as well.
Thank you.
About that plant.
Oh, right. Exits and leaves behind a curtain of what looks like to be various different kind of animal pelts put together, and comes back a few moments later with this kind of small, it looks like a wicker basket, very old, not in the best of condition. But you see there's a few small little saplings growing out. Probably only a few weeks, just barely sprouting out of the dirt soil. You can see the stems are green, looking healthy. And she places it on the table and pushes it over to you.
Thanks. Did you want me to help with those other ones? And he'll kind of lean around and point to the other saplings.
I'm quite alright, but thank you. Do take care of those.
I will.
They're beautiful once they bloom.
I bet.
Good luck. It was a pleasure meeting you, the Six. And she gives you a big, toothy grin. Also, good night, Reese. We're ending.
Night, night.
We're ending right here, so you won't miss much.
Okay. Good night.
But
Night.
one by one, you make your way back to your ship, untie, and you watch as Rob kind of pushes off as the house begins to drift in one direction and you begin to go in another. Wind meets your sails, and you begin to head back to Paradise Peak. But just before you do end up leaving the eye of the storm, you there's one amongst you that feels a tickle in the back of their brains too. Kipley.
Ugh.
Do be careful, dear. I dare not speak their name, but they are watching. And their expectations of you are very high. I do not envy your position, but I do relate. Vinegar is dangerous, but if you need a guide, and you feel in your left pocket a little disturbance.
Kind of wraps, sticks her fingers in there, kind of feels around and wraps her fingers around it, just kind of getting an idea of what it is.
It feels like wood, something wood. And as you wrap your fingers around it, feels something, it has shape to it. You kind of pull it out a little bit to see what it is, and it's a small carved, what looks like to be robin. A small little wooden robin.
She gives like a small little nod, wraps her fingers around it. Thank you, Bob.
And with that, sails pick up wind. You can see a small little line in the now pretty torrential downfall that begins to pour in, is carved. You see Bob gets back on the rocking chair outside and waves one last time as the sails pick up wind and you set off with one little last hag-like intervention, not disturbed by the weather for at least 500 feet away before the kind of closing of the eye of the storm finds you, and rain begins to patter against the deck of the ship as the sealed deal begins to make its way back home. That is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Woo.
Wonderful job, everybody.
Wow.
That one was a real juicer.
Yeah.
Right?
We needed to
Went
have
deep.
we had to have a little bit of a cool down, but also have a little opportunity for branching paths. I was very happy with the 20s because the hag encounter is meant for different. It's kind of like a multi-purpose. Depending on the circumstance, it was very DM like DM's discretion. What kind of mood are we in for today? Could have been a combat encounter, could have been a curse, could have been a deal, but
It's just
today
grandma.
did not require any of those. Today was grandma.
Aww.
Grandma Bob.
Grandma Bob, yeah.
I love grandma Bob.
I would make a note, Kipley. I'll make a note on my end as well that you do have the Rob Boblin, or the Bob Roblin. Little, you can just put little wooden Robin trinket.
Oh, yes, I added it already.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Perhaps could be useful if you do ever get close enough to Ravinica. But holy shit, Mustang Stroms.
My gosh.
I
Avengers are teaming.
love that interaction. Bro saw what he did not want to saw and pulled out the Glock. It was like,
Yeah.
lady.
reason why-
Nah.
I flipped the coin is because he's so not ready. He's so not ready.
Oh no, I knew. I could sense the hesitance. But hey,
That
you
was
got the favor of the Monarch of Mischief for doing something really stupid. putting your fate on the chance of a coin flip or a dice roll.
the magic of D&D.
Hey, yeah, baby. That was, I feel like a good little intermary session. Also,
It was
shout
good.
out to fucking Kipley for being the hardest motherfucker and cutting off the female hobgoblin's head with a natural 20 felt so good.
That was my favorite natural 20 ever.
I think that was well deserved. Just having the conversation with Ezra and just being like, you know what? I am that angry and that petty. I am going to carve your fucking throat out and take your head. For what purpose later? Oh, I'm just
I haven't
digging.
decided.
Also,
Be a nice mount.
shout out Jared for being here the whole time.
I know.
Yeah.
What a trooper.
Shout out to deceased.
Yeah.
Deceased.
Seagull
Yeah.
feet. Seagull feet.
God, it felt so weird not having Jared talk.
I know. I didn't like it.
I kept pausing when she was going for everyone and almost went, so Maeve. I was like, oh no. Don't do it.
I was just doing some like authentic nonstop role play. Role play in the corpse.
Authentic corpse roleplay.
Brother is a method actor.
Bro actually just
Oh.
went limp in his chair and just listened.
Are you playing? I did lay out on my bed the entire time. And just
That's so
listen.
great. Yeah. But in the future, if I ever miss the opportunity, even if someone does have Revivify, last words is something that I heavily respect as a DM because it is necessary for players because it can literally change the course of what the campaign goes on.
Mhm.
So your last words is don't fucking revive me or like go on without me or some shit like that. Very crucial information. So I apologize for last time for mixing that up and not giving you the chance to do that, Jared. Appreciate you stopping
No,
by and giving that now.
Yeah, I had to leave Kipley with that last minute trauma.
It was so
He was
sad.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'll sleep fine tonight.
No, no. I already know Megan will pull fucking Kipley and just stay awake until 3 a.m. I know I will.
Look at her feet off the ledge of something.
Of something, yeah. Off the bed. You're gonna,
Yeah.
you're gonna throw a pillow. It's gonna appear back on the bed. You're like, what the fuck?
Hurt my heart, y'all.
Oh, that's so sad.
I checked my
I
watch
think-
and it's survivor's guilt o'clock.
I think Caitlin actually was like sniffling at some points, and it got me sniffling, and I was like, fuck, don't you dare. You know the rules, and so do I. Oh.
Mm.
But hey, look on the bright side, everyone. You stole a massive treasure trove of some very powerful rich person's goods.
Right.
So Maeve may have died, but you're now rich in some
Yeah.
aspects.
And that's one less person you have to split it with.
Oh no!
Fuck you.
We'll use your portion to get some fucking diamonds, dude.
A life for a life. The irony of the fucking ship's name being the sealed deal.
Her deal did get sealed.
Maeve's deal got sealed.
I hate it.
Well, amazing stuff, everyone.
Well, at least no
It was
one's looted
awesome.
you yet, either.
Yet. Hey,
Well,
I'm
look
just
at your fucking
saying.
money, dude.
Well, not even the
Or
money,
no,
but
Kipley.
like
Yeah.
Whoa.
Maeve also has magical armor that can technically go on somebody else because it's magical. It will
They
adjust to
can't
size.
remove it.
But the problem is, yeah, it's gonna be pretty hard to get off.
Yeah, someone's gonna wear Maeve's clothes. I don't like that.
Well, it depends on the situation. I feel like you're
Amazing
carrying on the
costume.
memory, but you
You
know,
will have to remove her hands in order to take off. some of them.
yeah, the gauntlet staying on is a bit of a problem. You're gonna have a very weird funeral. Being in full, I guess it kind of fits the Damballa way. Ceremonial purposes would put you in armor anyways, or some sort of ceremonial clothing. This one's just a little more battered and fucking brutally singed.
Oh,
You said
God, my
You're gonna have to remove her hands, and I just got Shigaraki flashback.
Yeah.
yeah. it's fucking it melds, everything melds together, and it's like it's fitted armor,
Yep.
so she can't back her arms out of it.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's terrifying when you think about it. The gloves literally just become you. It's just attachment style. Bro got the Terminator
Attachment
upgrade. I can't wait for you guys to tell Maeve's family. That's gonna be such a fun conversation.
I actually can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm so excited and
I was
scared.
really hoping that you would be here earlier, Ash, and you would just be like, I have sending. We could just
That's what
I
was
would have
thinking.
if I was here, but I was. Oh my god, you guys, you don't even want to
Dead
know what I was
guy.
doing.
that 25 words or less would have been so good.
Oh man.
I would have paused and just taken 5 minutes to write out the most the most fucking grandfather response.
That's like that's like essentially texting someone that a loved one died.
Yeah, the worst
It's
possible
worse.
news.
It's worse
Yes.
than
Like,
that.
received.
Because Mustang can't respond to their response. So it's literally just like,
Unless he casts sending again.
yeah, unless you don't have that many spell slots. So you can cast it only so many times. So it's like sending like a one-way ticket to like somewhere and being like, come here to see your dead loved one. And then not
That
being
was
able to
turning your
respond.
phone off.
Yeah. Oh god. Corpse in a vacuum? Who's gonna tell Pearl? So true. Pearl also doesn't know.
For the first and second time.
Yeah, she didn't know
Uh,
I died the first time.
Yeah,
But
oh,
no, I'm dead now.
well, actually, oh yeah, no. You told her you
I
got
never
injured.
told-
You never told her that you died.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Mustang's got her number.
Oh god.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
I'm so excited.
Yeah, he ghosted her,
Yeah.
or she ghosted him. Whoops,
Yeah,
wrong pronouns.
well, also you straight up just asked like, "Hey, where are you?" after she ran away. So it's like,
He didn't know. He didn't know.
oh yeah, no, it was unfortunate circumstances, but you're like, "Oh, this bitch," and everyone else was like, "Where is this bitch?" Like Pearl just vanished.
Oh fuck! I won. She thought she was gonna die first, and she was doing me a favor.
Oh
No.
my god!
Me run to
Yeah,
the grave.
you won D&D bingo. Congratulations! Your reward is a new character. Your penalty is you must date Pearl again.
Oh.
Oh, that gets awkward.
That's it.
The B plot of the campaign is just NPCs trying to get either husband or wifed up.
That's what I would say. Who's gonna
Oh.
be the next person who gets married? Who's gonna bring the next husband or
Yeah,
wife? into the
yeah.
fold?
Who's gonna bring the next NPC to go either fill in the role of the 6, or you gonna have to rebrand the 5. Oh god! And
Shit.
then there was 5. The new name.
Oh, fuck.